This show is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We've been taught that having negative emotions is bad, but feeling angry, sad, or overwhelmed is normal. Visit betterhelp.com/allies and learn to process those difficult emotions.
Hello, welcome to the Easy Allies podcast, coming to you from Los Angeles, California. I'm your moderator, Daniel Bloodworth. This week, I'm joined by Michael Huber.
Greetings.
Michael Damiani.
Go Yankees.
Whoa. You chose violence.
That reaction was great.
Yo, Yankees, no quarrel. You know I only have one quarrel in baseball. There's only one.
Who's your coral?
Oh, here we go.
Oh boy.
I don't want. Let's move on. Let's move
Sports podcast.
Let's move on.
Go,
Keep
baby.
it going.
Marlins?
Keep it going. Keep it going.
The Marlins.
Is that baseball
Moving
even?
on.
I'm making it all happen in our control room, Isla Hink and Don Casanova.
Hello, coming to you from the control room. Don, say hi. I don't know if you could hear that,
That
but
sounded like
he was there.
Home Improvement. Oh.
Friends, we're here to discuss some of the biggest headlines in video games this week. But before we do that, we must answer for the mistakes we made in the last episode.
Pay for your sins.
Isla, begin corrections music, please.
Gotta balance those scales.
I said at one point that Crytek has time splitters now, which is not the case. A bit of a history lesson I went down. So in 1999, GoldenEye staff left Rare and formed Free Radical Design, who created time splitters.
Yeah.
About 10 years later, Crytek bought Free Radical and renamed it to Crytek UK, which is where I had that mistake from.
Of course.
In 2014, Crytek sold Homefront: The Revolution to Deep Silver. Crytek UK closed, and the same day, the staff transferred over to a new studio called Dambuster. However, at the time, Crytek still had the Time Splitters IP. Then, in 2018, Deep Silver also picked up Time Splitters. And then last year, Free Radical Design was reformed as a new studio to work on the next Time Splitters game. I think Dambuster's still off doing its own other things.
I'm waiting for Embracer to insert themselves into this.
Yes, and if you haven't been keeping up, Deep Silver has also been part of the Embracer group since 2018.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time.
Always.
Isla, the Luigi Hate Eyes clip wasn't originally from a trailer.
Oh.
That was just a replay shot a player uploaded that blew up and went viral.
Oh, funny.
The original upload has 377,000 views. The upload where somebody added Ridin' Dirty has 7.8 million views.
Yep. Yep.
We talked about the possibility of Crystal Dynamics remaking the original Tomb Raider, but we neglected to mention that Tomb Raider Anniversary already exists, albeit that was back in 2007. And then Huber, Gunfire Games did work on Darksiders, but not Darksiders Genesis. They did Darksiders 3, and more recently, Remnant from the Ashes.
Yes. Cool game, Remnant from the Ashes. We streamed that.
Yeah.
Game is sick.
And if you have a correction, leave it in the YouTube comments on either the public version or the patron version. Use the word correction and put a timestamp there so I remember what the heck we were talking about. That's actually one of the biggest things, because it's easier for me to research the fact check than it is to figure out where we said the
That's
thing.
funny. That's funny.
And corrections music.
A boop.
Remnant sequel when? Let's go.
The movie?
Remnant from the Ashes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Huber, we've been waiting a bit to see some Gotham games.
Yes.
And we got a look at Gotham Knights this week.
Yes.
Warner Brothers revealed fresh gameplay of Nightwing and Red Hood, including co-op play, and looking a little rough.
Looking a little rough.
Yeah.
Looking a little rough. I remain hopeful. I
Yeah.
remain hopeful.
We're going to show some of the footage here. It's not going to match up with everything we say, but just so you know, we're going to put a little bit on screen so you see what we're talking about.
Yeah, I remain hopeful. A lot of my fears that I have going into this game, like this trailer kind of reaffirmed those fears. One of them is just the co-op nature of it. My biggest fear and what the trailer showed was just like two people going in and just fighting everyone, you know? There's no sense of like coordination or them stealthily going in and like picking off targets.
Right.
They did show some
stealth,
of that,
but not together.
not together. And like that's so worrisome because that's kind of the big selling point of this. And then the other thing too is the co-op aspect of it is another selling point. You know, we just had but we had 4 Arkham games. It's nice to mix it up. I don't really count the Blackgate one. There's 5 games, but technically 4.
It's the VR one too.
The VR one too. Yeah, okay. So 4 main ones, like 2 spin-offs. Thank you, Blood. And so the co-op aspect is like, oh, cool, something different. But then down the line, it's like, well, Suicide Squad's co-op too, so that's kind of taking away a little bit from Gotham Knights. There's just so much against it. It's not in the Arkham universe. And all this weird
very
stuff.
much not.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I really like stood out to me right away was Gotham looks very, very different.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like LA. It looks like kind of like just like a regular modern office buildings like GCPD. As soon as I saw that logo up there, I was like, that's the GCPD?
And the loot looked just so uninspired. The costumes they showed were not great. Just, it's got a lot going up against it.
Yeah. As interesting about the city, I thought they got kind of the atmosphere. I mean, it was nighttime, but like I thought the
Cool mood.
traversal of the city looked nice, and then like the indoors looked fine.
Yeah.
There's just everything else you talked about. I mean, the combat, especially nowadays, like this may have been okay maybe like 10, 15 years ago, but coming off of like Spider-Man and Miles Morales, it's like the combat in that compared to this, and it's like...
and it's funny because like Spider-Man took the Arkham combat.
Right.
And just...
You know?
Yep. And then your thing about like loot, like just seeing the menus when they went to the crafting table and then
It was
showing
bad. It was
like
a bad menu.
I was like the look of it and it's like the overwhelming amount of numbers all over the place. I'm like, no, this does not belong here. This feels so wrong right now.
Blueprints.
Yeah.
Where and why are you getting blueprints?
Such a big part of the Arkham games too is just like getting in that world. They're so immersive. That's another thing that's harder to get into when you're doing co-op. Kind of like the stakes of the story.
Yeah, they tried to show off like that the combo attack to be like, oh, there'll be like those opportune moments, but everything else. I'm curious, Huber, because you take this very seriously about impact of combat. I was not feeling like any of the hits were doing anything. It's really, sorry, I know it's a gun, but Red Hood shooting things, it's like it looked like when Dante spams his guns and Devil May Cry. It's just like there's no impact. It's funny looking.
Yeah.
It's like no.
And then they've got like it's a game, cool, but it's like he fires non-lethal rounds. Then you have the armor-piercing rounds will go through them.
Right.
And it's like just weird stuff.
Yeah, a lot of comments were on that.
Yeah.
Like,
And just-
you have piercing, non-lethal? What? How do those two go together? They don't.
Totally. And just from like the ground up, like the combat, you know, the free flow combat just seems to be completely gone and different. You don't see any counters, you know?
Here's the thing.
The combo seems so float. It seems more of a brawler than like the free flow combat that
I feel in some way that stuff is there, but they did a bad job showing it. Because there were multiple points where I just felt like this guy is just clunky with the controls. And, you know, when you're talking about no counters, they had this whole thing, because you see it on the big boy later on, but I rewatched it, and there's always like this little circle around the thing that's going to hit you. So like,
was it dodge? They kept dodging that.
Yeah.
right.
It looked
but
like.
I feel like that has to be part of a counter system. Otherwise, it's just pointless to highlight it
Like
that way.
or you target a part of their body, like you target like the weapon. Like they didn't explain
It
that,
was
so you just
weird.
left
It was
confused.
weird.
And it looked, visually did not communicate that.
And they also were like, jumping around like crazy with Nightwing just to like emphasize that he's acrobatic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When he did like 4 backflips unnecessarily, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what? I was like, okay, they play like me. I'm just gonna keep spamming dodge the whole time, but I don't think that looks good in a trailer unveiling your combat system, man. I was like, you should be doing like, what's the purpose of this? It's like, oh, they probably worked hard on these animations. I'm like, that still looks kind of stiff.
Yeah.
It's like, jeez. So weird.
I think the other thing, going back to co-op, is they showed that one scene, right, where they were in a co-op combat.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like we got a good sense of like, how does this play out? Because it sounds like every character has like their own separate storyline.
Yeah.
So if you're playing as Red Hood and I'm playing as Nightwing, how are we in this world doing missions at the same time or together, or how is that information going to be relayed to each other? But then the thing with the Court of Owls, like you saw, like, oh, here it's...
Which was cool.
If Nightwing, it's like this. If Red Hood does it, it's like this.
Yeah.
It makes it actually less clear to me
how
that all's supposed to fit together.
It's like it might be easier if it's just open world mission co-op where you can like grind it out and just team up, and then maybe like the big Court of Owl like dungeon type missions or single player. Like, I don't know. Maybe they've said that in a press release or interviews. I've missed that. But yeah. I'm hopeful. It's WB Montreal. Like, Arkham Origins is a really awesome video game. The shotguns kind of like break it. That's a whole conversation for another time. But I remain hopeful, but I'm very cautious about this. I did not like what I saw, and I think it lowered my hype and my expectations.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think to me another one of the things in there was the traversal, and they did in the scene with the motorcycle.
Oh gosh,
like that was really quick and simple, so it's kind of hard to see like how that would play out over long term. But it felt to me it felt like when you tackle a car in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So you just kind of go up real quick and do the quick time event, and it's over.
Looked cool.
But then Red Hood does
when he launches it, I was like, that's kind of cool.
Oh, I thought like the chase part of it looked bad. He's running off all the explosives and like nothing was happening.
Oh, right.
All the build up to it.
And when I watched it, I thought he was like, why is there streaks coming from his bike, like making it look like he's going fast? It looks like he's driving 10 miles an hour right now. It looks so slow. And I was like, this whole sequence is gonna be a quick time event, isn't it? And yeah, it does the Spider-Man thing. They didn't want to show it. It's like, I don't even know if that's a traversal thing or that. I thought that was how it was presented. I thought it was like the start of a mission or something that you're just chasing down someone. So will you be able to use a motorcycle going across, or are you just going to use like the other traversal stuff?
I feel like you should be able to.
I hope you do, but I mean...
But what I was getting to is at the end of that, he does have like a grapple launcher thing too, so similar to Batman, so that's nice.
It had a huge range on it.
The other things both look
Red
bad.
Hood like floating with mystical powers. I'm like, what?
That step thing was sick.
What?
That was cool.
I like that. I thought it.
I mean, the ability is cool, but I don't know about lore-wise if it fits in. But like, just being able to do that's kind of cool. Yeah. But I was like, wait, is this like Doctor Strange shit? Like, what is like? I know it's MCU, but this is the wrong universe. This is WB. What's going on here?
And one of the first things that caught me off guard too was the Nightwing Fortnite glider.
Oh yeah,
because it just materializes out of nowhere, and it just I don't understand it because in the Arkham games, like everything, you know, even if they do have some crazy explanation for it, like it feels like a physical structural thing Batman might have on his utility belt or whatever. And when he glides, you know, maybe it doesn't make sense, but like at least there's a sense that it's just a part of his cape. Whereas, you know, I like went frame by frame on that Nightwing glider, and I don't understand.
Where does it come?
I don't understand. It just materializes.
Maybe it's cloaked.
The game's in a simulation. You're in a simulation.
Maybe it's like a cloaked drone, and then when you need it,
there you go.
And then the big one, the fast travel one later.
Fat. It's called the fat.
That was odd too, because it's like, are there specific places that you can only fast travel to? Because he then took like a minute of gliding to get where he needed to be.
It's probably, he just drops you in. It's probably a cutscene that drops you in, because it's like, wait, if you just have that, just drop anywhere. Why are you even, why would you glide then? Like, what? So it must be fixed points. Because when I went to that terminal to see like the points of interest, I imagine like those things are where you could do like the fast bat.
I like the Belfry. I like a hub area. It's good. You know, I love the Bat Cave, and it's always like underutilized.
To show,
not the best conversation.
Yeah. I think that in context it might be a little bit better, but there's just so much. There's this weird like long pauses and awkwardness in that moment, which is part of what the characters are going through. I get that. Yeah. Just in the middle of everything else, it just felt like a strange turn. Yeah,
and I like the Court of Owls part at the end. It was a cool tone. Love the Court of Owls. It's such a good story. I hope they do it justice. That's it. That's all I got on it. I'm hopeful, but I'm a little worried.
Yeah. Oh, I think the other last little note that I had on the combat was it feels like the AI isn't quite sure what it's supposed to do yet. Because you were saying that like they're standing around.
It looks like one at a time.
But I saw that there were times that they were trying to attack, and it was just like they were just like a little bit too slow before the player caught up to them. You know?
The final Red Hood battle. Like, let's see how you said, like, say how Red Hood does this fight. Literally, dudes with guns pointed at him for like 1, 2, 3, like not shooting him while he's not engaged with them. So it's like, wait,
it really feels like one.
But
at a time.
someone caught on one of them. It's like it was on like super easy or something. The difficulty was like on the easiest setting apparently. Easy. So maybe on harder difficulties they react a little bit faster. Because man, that was Well,
I saw one enemy that kind of like they sort of like turned the other way, like clearly like it just like an AI like mismatch towards. You know, you're going towards them, and then they turned away from you, and then kind of turned back. So stuff like that. There's like, I wonder. Yeah. It just needs just a little bit more of that polish time.
Yeah. It's like part of me feels like it's not fair, but it totally is fair to compare it to the Arkham games because it's like they're clearly not trying to be an Arkham game, but it's like, dude, it's a Batman game from WB Montreal. Like, well, Batman's not in it. Yeah, but it's some Batman, like Bat family game, you know.
It has to feel at least as good,
Yeah, so the comparisons I think are so fair, but also the other side of like, it is trying to be really different than those previous games. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt there, but what they showed this time around was pretty underwhelming.
The other thing that came out with this announcement is
that was it. I knew somebody was on the tip.
Last gen.
Yeah.
Got cut.
Yeah.
No more last gen version of this game.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it really makes me think back to Cyberpunk. Brandon K. Gann wrote into Love and Respect about this. I'm going to throw it here instead, but it's like he was asking, like, is this a sign that it's time for this last gen to start phasing out?
Yeah, absolutely. Do we know what the deal is with Starfield yet? I guess we'll find out soon. Is Starfield...
well, they just delayed it today.
They delayed it. I wonder if it'll be... Because, the Xbox is so good about, like, any Xbox you can play it.
Oh, sure.
So I wonder, like, if Starfield is, like, current gen only, that, to me, would signal the end of...
Right.
cross-gen. But that sucks for past-gen owners who really want to play this game, obviously, but I'm sure the current gen version of Gotham Knights now will be better because of this. But that is a bummer for anyone that still hasn't got a new system that wants to play that.
Yeah. Well, particularly because there's not a whole lot of options.
Yeah.
You can't get a new system, unless you try really, really hard. So.
Well, I mean, I thought recently said Xboxes were getting easier to find.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? Like, don't think that's true yet for maybe PlayStation 5. But there has to be a point that they need to just rip that Band-Aid off where the game's clearly being held back, like that, or the last gen version is just not going to even be worth it. It's like better to just like upset your fan base of that, saying it's not going to happen, than to let it happen and it's terrible, and then probably be even angrier at that point. So I mean, it's the lesser of two evils with that choice. So also it just means, like, as you said, Huber, the game will probably end up being better for it. I mean, not saying it's gonna be a good game, but it'll probably be better than what it would have been if it was still
on fewer versions, for sure.
Yeah.
Huber, this week we learned the truth about Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh yeah.
So what happened is a build of Duke Nukem Forever from 2001.
You have no idea how many times I watched that trailer at the time when it came out. That was like my favorite trailer of all time. I watched it on repeat all the time. It's like in my brain. That vending machine, it was like, vending machine, you can buy things out of the vending machine.
Yeah.
So cool.
Hell yeah.
Love that trailer.
Yeah, so the build from 2001 leaked, running on Unreal Engine 1, which then prompted Scott Miller of Apogee Software to publish a blog post titled "The Truth About DNF," providing a timeline of the game's messy development history. And what's interesting is you would expect this to be some gigantic thing, and he really just sums it up pretty quickly.
Cuts right to it.
Yeah. And he says, looks like someone leaked a build of Duke Nukem Forever from 2001. Anyone expecting much of a playable game will be disappointed. The game's brilliant trailer from that period definitely overrepresented what was actually playable in the game.
God, it was so good. It was so good, the trailer. Oh my God.
Now here's where he goes on to rant.
My hype was next level.
DNF is the game that destroyed 3D Realms and ended up getting the company sold to an investor in Denmark, where it's still based. While our games like Max Payne and Prey were keeping the company afloat, DNF was a constant money pit for the company and eventually killed the original 3D Realms / Apogee. While I was not part of the DNF project, as a company owner, I had some good insight into the issues with the game's development. We were always understaffed by at least 50%. Jeez. We did not have a good development roadmap. At least I never once saw one. And instead, the project was ad-libbed too much. And then because of the game's slow development, when new 3D technology became available, the project, in effect, rebooted to make use of the newest tech, causing massive delays over and over. I recognized the DNF was in deep trouble back in 2004 and tried to get the entire game developed by a more experienced studio, Digital Extremes, now famous for Warframe. The owner there was eager to take over DNF from us, and we even had the blessing of our publisher at the time, Take-Two. But this idea was shot down internally. It turned out to be a fatal suicide shot. In the end, we worked out a deal to somehow barely save the project with Gearbox and basically handed over the future of the Duke brand to them with the idea that they'd finish the game. A year or so later, it was released. It's a very sad story no matter how you look at it. It brought 3D Realms to its knees. All of our development team left or was released, and the 3D Realms name is now owned by someone with no connection to our past. And then, yeah, he just kind of wishes Gearbox the best with the franchise going forward.
Duke Nukem as a youth was one of my favorites growing up, especially
Same.
Duke Nukem 3D. You too, Isla?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a pervert. Of course I love Duke Nukem 3D.
Shake it, baby.
Shake it, baby. Pretty ridiculous game.
Yes. Love Duke Nukem 3D. Duke Nukem 64. 0 Hour on 64 was like the third person time traveling one. The Old West. But I don't know if the world needs any more Duke Nukem.
Right.
You know, some
It
franchise...
definitely does not.
Yeah. Some things are really a product of their time, and I think Duke Nukem is a prime example of that. Could a new Duke Nukem game be awesome? Absolutely. Do we need it?
Right.
Probably not. And I know he did make kind of a small comeback in the Bulletstorm DLC pretty recently, which I streamed and went through that. That was a couple years ago now. And that was like a cool way to use Duke in the modern times.
I would love it if a new Duke Nukem came out, but you play as like his daughter, and
Yeah.
she's
sure.
like drinking whiskey and going to strip clubs and like doing all kinds of crazy shit, but like it's just modern and like
Hell yeah.
more.
Or like half the jokes are just making fun of the stuff her dad says.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like she comes across some guy who's like being an asshole, and she's like, "You sound like my dad."
Bossman had like the best
Who?
pitch for Duke Nukem years ago about kind of like that, where he's like over the hill, making fun of himself. It's like there's a very specific way to
In
do it.
a way, like
it
old,
seems
like
so
Kratos
hard.
versus old Kratos, right?
Yeah. Just like coming to terms with your past and like fish out of water, trying to change. Like you could do it.
Because I do feel like the modern equivalent of Duke Nukem really is embodied in like Borderlands a lot. You know, it's
True,
a
that
lot of
kind
that
of humor.
crazy, wild humor.
Yeah.
So it's maybe Gearbox are the ones that could turn it around and make something fun out of it. But
Man. It's interesting you said that the how you speak about the trailer, Huber, about like the stuff it promised.
It was so ahead of it was so cutting edge.
There's that trailer.
Yeah.
There's everything about Shenmue before it came out, like the promises that Shenmue made, but difference is Shenmue delivered on them. Another one that comes to mind for me, because this is like for me, was Metal Gear Solid 2. Because not only was it like the story trailer, but like all the technical shots, shooting the glass, shooting the bottles, like shooting the fruit. And when you get in the game, you can actually do that stuff. So hearing this truth thing now about, those might have been cherry-picked things that you really can't, like, there weren't going to be a lot of that. Like, it makes it even more impressive how one of those older games, like Shenmue or MGS2, could do that stuff with that new technology and how fast they came out versus, something like this, which, they were probably right. I mean, that alternate timeline now where Warframe developers would have made Duke Nukem Forever back in like the 2000s would have been nuts. Wild. Yeah.
Thanks for praising Shenmue, Damiani.
So I don't know exactly what the process of leaked things getting out there are, but apparently the guys that have it are saying they're going to release it in June or something. So who knows how many people are going to dig around in that mess?
Yeah, trip down memory lane. That'd be fun to walk around in. I for years, I mean, I was knee deep in that development hell waiting game. I was like, please, I need this game so bad. Like, wanted it so bad. And then I finally got Duke Nukem Forever. I ended up game flying it actually after all this time. Duke Nukem Forever comes out. I finally rent it through GameFly, go through it in a weekend. It's very forgettable. Yeah. It's not the worst game ever made. You can go through it easily, which helps really shitty games. Like if a game is terrible and it's hard to get through, that's when I'm not having fun. But if it's something bad like Never Dead or something,
I don't know.
You get
Never
through
Dead
it
is hard
easily.
for me to get through.
I didn't finish the game. I got very close to the end and like just said like, all right, I'm done with this game. The thing that only stood out to me most was like the remote controlled car parts or whatever.
Totally.
Yeah, that was like the big standout to me.
Yeah. Shrink Ray.
This past week has seen a lot of financial reports, particularly the big ones from Nintendo and PlayStation for the fiscal year, which ended on March 31st. So we got some figures to go through, get some reactions on. So Nintendo sold 23.06 million Switch units in the past fiscal year, down from 28.83 million. 13.56 were the regular Switch. 5.8 million were the OLED, and then 3.7 million were the Lite. It's a pretty good amount of OLEDs there, I think.
Yeah.
People giving up on the Pro. Pulling the trigger. Honestly. Give up.
Shouldn't have been going for a Pro anyways, but yeah. And then that brings the lifetime sales to 107.65 million units.
Yeah.
God. Wow. Staggering numbers. Staggering.
No. Yeah.
Wow.
For reference, Game Boy has sold 118 million, DS 154 million, PS2 155 million. So that's kind of where the stack up is.
Getting there. Check your rear view, PS2.
Well, it's right behind. I think PS4 is at 117 million.
Yeah, 117
so
million.
So it's right behind.
So it's 10 million behind PS4.
Yeah, behind PS4. You know what it passed? The Wii.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you think about how successful the Wii was.
That is utterly mind-blowing. That is
5 years
utterly
in,
mind-blowing.
it's already past where the Wii was.
That's the number, Damiani. That is the stat. That is crazy.
And it's 5 years, so yeah.
Wow.
I mean, PS2, DS, those numbers they got, they went way more than 5 years. So it's got a chance.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Has a very good chance.
The plan is to sell 21 million in the coming year.
So.
And Shuntaro Furukawa said there's no end in sight to the semiconductor shortage at this point. So basically, everyone is still selling what they can make.
Yeah.
And we'll see that with Sony's numbers as well when we get there.
Yeah. Even going a lower number for this coming fiscal year than the previous year makes sense because, I mean, their two biggest years were also like during the pandemic where a lot of people were shifting to like playing more games, like staying at home and having to deal with that. So the fact that they're even anywhere close to those record years, like for last fiscal year, it's still like pretty good. So I mean, it is like they're slowing down that forecast. But I mean, look at the amount of games they got coming out this year as well. I mean, they have a very strong lineup. I mean, and now through next year, because now Breath of the Wild sequel being delayed, that's going to be like a massive game. So I think, they got another, like, if they want like another 2 this year and all through next year, they're probably going to be like very strong. I'm sure they'll hit that target.
And that's something that they brought up too, is that, at this point in the life cycle, like they actually still have like a lot of games coming out and a lot of games selling well. And that's not been the case for most Nintendo systems. Like usually you have that slow back half, like after about 3.5, 4 years, then it seems like Nintendo starts slowing down, and it's like they just kind of hibernate and get ready for whatever the next
their
launch
like first party stuff starts to like slow down, because exactly like 5 years to the date after its launch, Skyward Sword for Wii came out 2011, 5 years after that huge 100 million plus round install base. And, it only sold like about like something like a 3 million range of copies, where, you have a huge install base. But then you look at something like Breath of the Wild, that's like now like, like 26 something million for the Switch version of it. And it's like just keeps, exploding. So, I mean, software sales on it. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
They're saying it's the highest year of software sales for the company.
Yeah, they're like what they said, like 800 million plus software sales lifetime to date.
Full time, yeah.
I mean, it's not the number one. One of the other systems has like 900 something million, but like it's very feasible by the end of Switch's lifespan, it'll break 1 billion software sales. Like 1 billion pieces of software were sold. And it's like, dude, 1 billion copies of a game were sold on Switch. It's like, dude, that's insane. Yeah. Like, think about that.
Complete global saturation.
So they have I have some numbers for individual games from the past year. All Pokemon games put together, just in the past fiscal year, 35 million units for all of the different Pokemon games combined. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl led that with 14.65 million. Then Arceus was 12.65 million. Mario Party Superstars was 6.8 million. Skyward Sword HD was 3.9 million. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 9.9 million just in the past fiscal year, bringing it to 45 million total.
You don't understand. Like, Mario Kart 8 is going to be... Yeah, Mario Kart series should be treated like Skyrim GTA, like Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Elder Scrolls GTA territory now. Like, please, like it's huge.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing.
When's the movie?
Animal Crossing did another 6 million, bringing it to 38 million total. Metroid Dread, 2.9 million, which we're seeing is likely the best-selling Metroid game in history.
Easily.
And then Kirby has done 2.1 million in its first 2 weeks. And then I've got the full list of everything that's sold over 1 million. So if you want to throw out a name and see where it's landed on the million club, let me know. Any games come to mind?
Damiani?
I mean, I don't know if you had any that you...
Triangle Strategy.
Three Houses.
3 Houses. Let's see.
And Triangle Strategy. Yeah.
I don't think they're in the million club.
Yeah, Triangle Strategy is too soon, I think.
Yeah, Triangle Strategy is definitely too soon.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't see...
I remember 3 Houses is over 1 million. I just don't know where it is.
Yeah, why don't I see 3 Houses?
Yeah, it's definitely over 1 million. So is Definitive Edition. It just broke 1 million sales. It already did.
Which Definitive Edition of what?
Of Xenoblade Chronicles. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is the best-selling Xenoblade Chronicles. That's like multi-million.
Not on this then.
I don't know why.
Yeah, because their chart, the lowest thing on there was 1 million, but maybe that's only for this fiscal year?
Yeah.
It might be the fiscal year chart.
Yeah.
It sometimes gets messy. But yeah, there's
Miitopia 1.6.
Miitopia. Oh yeah, they had those
Big Brain Academy right behind it
those
too.
Famicom Detective Club games do. They break 1 million.
It doesn't look like it. Clubhouse Games though did another 1 million.
Oh yeah.
Heyo,
Game Builder Garage broke 1 million.
Really? I heard no human being ever talk about that game ever. Not even Don Casanova.
Yeah, Clubhouse.
Game Builder Garage?
Clubhouse Games life to date 4.2 million. That's wild.
That's a lot. That's great.
I think it was also interesting. Besides sales, they talked about the the release schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we know Breath of the Wild 2 is not this year. They still count Bayonetta 3 as 2022. But something that's not in the year is Advance Wars.
Right.
Still,
they just don't.
Yeah, they're
have
just
date.
not giving a thing for that.
Reboot
Yeah. So
Best title, 2022.
Kind of like an
Such a good name.
Definite delay there. But yeah, Bayonetta 3, they still expect this year, so.
Oh, we're making a best title award just to give it to that.
Yeah.
Just to give it to it.
I have a novelty title I want to create just so I can give a special award to Stanley Parable 2. Blood won't let us though, probably.
How good do you think Ring Fit has done so far?
Phenomenal.
6 million.
It's
18 mil.
absolutely phenomenal.
18 million.
We're in the middle.
So it's like 12 million,
7.
right? 11 million.
It did 3.9 this year, 14 million total.
It's doing really well.
it was
I'm gonna be
needed.
very curious to see, because it wouldn't be in this report, what Switch Sports numbers will be.
Yeah, they said it's doing well.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how that ends up doing.
Yep. And then Furukawa commented on the next gen after Switch, saying, there are currently nearly 100 million annual playing users, and going forward, it is important to consider how we can maintain and expand on that number. This will also be essential when we consider our plan for the next hardware platform.
Yeah, this is gonna be the entire topic of friend code. So
Yeah.
I will keep
Look for that next week.
Yeah, but you've got because I knew we were gonna talk about the numbers and the Indie World Showcase on that, and there's a lot to talk about in regards to like what Nintendo's transition will be to its successor. So yeah, let's kind of save that a little bit. But
It's always a bummer having to put your like brand manager hat on, because it's like, 100 million users, like what? We wouldn't want to start over again.
Right.
We're gonna ride this thing into the ground.
But I mean, I think that's what's important is like keeping people's libraries intact and all of that kind of thing.
The important thing is they're acknowledging that, like, hey, it's a positive acknowledgement that we kind of don't want customers to think they have to start from square one again with a new system. Like, we want to have that some kind of form of carryover with the account system and your purchases, like. And they're like, how they're going to go about doing that? Well, that's the discussion to have, but
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's more
And
than
I
just
think-
backwards compatibility.
I also think, I think in all of that, they brought up the Wii to the Wii U, and it was like how big of a dive that was. Like, I think they learned their lessons. Like we don't want to do that again.
Yeah, good point.
So don't call it Switch U.
Yeah.
And don't make it a peripheral this time that like people think it's a peripheral. Like actually, Yeah. I'm just curious like what that successor will even like look like and stuff. But
So wild.
that's
That's a rabbit hole right there. Drive yourself crazy thinking about that.
On the PlayStation side, PS5 shipped 19.3 million units worldwide to date.
That's a lot.
Missing their target by 3 million. 11.5 million more in the last fiscal year. Next fiscal year is looking better, but still supply concerns. And here's the quote. 18 million units is what we feel very comfortable we can get the parts and components for. We feel that there is a little bit higher demand than that. So if the question is if we can meet the demand, I think we're still short somewhat.
Man, this living in the pre-apocalypse is getting to be kind of a bummer, dude.
Totally.
It's getting to be a little bit of a bummer, dude.
We live in a dystopia.
Shit, yeah,
Hey,
bro.
at least Ethereum's crashing, so GPUs are back on the market.
Nice.
sure.
Burn crypto.
Yeah, I mean, it's being realistic. I mean, it's a good thing to say. I mean, and it's not like it's to keep I mean, it's definitely framed for like, investors and stuff like, hey, listen, like we're selling out of everything we are making, and like, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. This year might not close that gap completely, but it kind of feels like, barring any other kind of disaster affecting chip production, that the fiscal year after would be like, all right, now we can really see what the PS5 is capable of when it's like not hindered by component shortage. So I think it's a good thing to have. It stinks for customers who still can't get it, but it does sound like it's going to be getting easier and easier, because that statement's like, sounds like the gap's not that far. It's like, yeah, that's more, but at current demand, it won't quite meet it, but maybe it won't sell in 5 seconds every time, or
I also think that it gives the air of like they're trying to be conservative with any predictions here. It's like 18 million. We're pretty sure we can get that. We might be able to get more.
Yeah.
But let's say 18 million. Be safe. Play it safe there. They didn't really. I didn't really see like the nice hardware breakdowns, or software breakdowns. But they said first party sales were up 84% in the past quarter. which is like the beginning of the year. And then they've sold 14.5 million first-party titles. PS4 shipped 117.2 million units to date, but only 100,000 in the past quarter.
Yeah,
so you can see like now, the PS4 is definitely starting to bog down.
It does, even though that's slowing down at that, still that's a huge number. This makes me, coming off their topic with Gotham Knights about the cancellation of the last gen stuff, like Sony's statement about the future outlook does make me kind of like give pause to whether or not Sony, from a first party perspective, when they're going to be ready to make that kind of cut for this game will be only because like we saw it with Horizon. I'm assuming with God of War will probably be the same thing.
I think they said with God of War. I
don't know if it's actually been explicitly stated or if it's implied that like it will also be cross gen. I expect through any game they have come out through this year, potentially into next year, will probably still be cross gen until that the gap of the difference between PS4 and PS5 starts to like grow a little bit, where there are more PS5 users, because that software sales thing is so important that they leverage that 117 million right now, because PS5 is not where it should be, and it's not Sony's fault. It's just the state of the world right now.
And what's really wild about the fact that they're just not even being able to meet demand like on all three fronts is. It also means we're not getting any price cuts, right? The Switch has still not had a price cut.
Nope. Not
and the PS5 is not going to get a price cut.
Surprised it hasn't been a
price.
It'll
get a bundle, though. It'll get a bundle, and that, to me, is a price cut.
Oh.
God of War bundle.
Surprised there hasn't been a price hike yet. A first price hike.
There's kind of been a price hike because they got those the fins that Huber bought. How much those things are like $80 for the plastic fins?
I dropped a remote on my white one, and it like just a huge like dent and smudge and everything, so I got a black one.
It physically damaged it?
It was like a big scrape on it. Like
that's one hell of a remote.
It was because it was in my blanket, and I took my blanket off. Like I got up like quickly. And when I did it, it was the remote like went 50 feet in the air.
I'm glad no one was in the room.
What?
I'm got to get a concussion from you.
I got up
flipping his blanket.
Send me a picture of this remote. I can't picture a remote being not bulky enough to scar a PS5.
I was scarred.
Is this going to be a stealth attack in Gotham Knights?
Throw remotes at people.
At somebody.
50 feet. Huber has very, very high ceilings.
I have a very high living room ceiling. It's very high. Every other room in the house is like really low, but the living room is like a triangle.
Yeah, every other room is like being John
strategy.
Malkovich. And then that room's like a cathedral.
Yeah, it's a massive room.
Some other highlights from people's various fiscal reports. Capcom is reporting 5th year of record profits. Looking to prioritize workplace environments.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
And they've spoken recently about, raising the pay on their staff and taking care of them more and that kind of thing.
New golden era for Capcom.
Yo, where's that RE4 trailer, baby?
Release Akili. There's so much on
Release Akili.
And Village was a big part of all that.
Dude,
Capcom should buy Konami.
RE4 remake is going to sell so much.
Konami was actually doing really well based off of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something.
Konami can bite my ass.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Konami's doing fine, just not the way we want
Yeah.
them to.
Remember, people were going around like attacking people over Pokemon cards, and I bet Yu-Gi-Oh! Was in the mix too. Just Pokemon was the headline.
Yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh's always in the mix.
Saw someone say, is this true? There's no current way to play any of the Metal Gear Solid games digitally on current gen.
Yeah, I know
current gen? I don't think so.
Yeah.
If you have the HD collection disc,
But
which is
that's
2 and
physical.
3, you could put it in your Xbox.
But that's physical, but so it's starting to get harder.
Like you want to play OG MGS. Best way is like the PS3 store, the PS1
Which is
classic.
ironic because remember when Metal Gear Solid 5 came out, the physical for the PC, the disc just had a Steam downloader in it. And it didn't even have the game on it?
That's right.
Wait, is there MGS5 on PS5 version? No, there's not, right?
I don't think so.
And you have the disc to play
could be
Xbox One, right? Or Xbox One version to play on Xbox Series.
Yeah, you could probably do that. Get that Xbox boost. Boost it. MGS4, Guns of the Patriots, is the one that's like just on PS3. It's the only way to play it.
Yep.
It is
Right.
hostage on PS3.
Oh no.
Also, Bandai Namco profits are up 50%. Elden Ring has sold 13.4 million.
Total?
Yeah, so far.
That's it?
That's it.
That's a lot.
That's gigantic.
The conversation.
That's almost as much as Ring Fit Adventure.
So it came out.
It feels like
end of
every
February.
single gamer, every single human played this game.
That's 1 month of sales.
Sure.
Yeah, pretty much. Because
Okay.
these just goes to like March 31st.
It just feels like a cataclysmic event, this game. It feels...
In 1 month, it sold
Yeah.
half of what Breath of the Wild has sold its lifetime.
Okay, there you go. There's some perspective. Okay. There we go. That's insane. Should have led with that.
And then People Can Fly say that Outrider sales still haven't turned a profit, so they have yet to receive any royalties from
Dude,
Square
it's
Enix.
like Hollywood bookkeeping for video games. What it sounds like when I was reading this.
the bookie.
Like we haven't-
Interest. Yo, the
yeah.
meter's running.
Yeah, we haven't like made it in money yet, so we can't pay you your royalties.
So it's crazy that expansion is about to come out, which I didn't even know was going to be a thing.
It is so under the radar.
It really just seems to be there to sell that game, just
Yeah.
like get enough for this original game to be profitable.
Kind of, I like when they do that. It's smart. It's kind of like you get to launch your game again in a way. You know, you bundle it, lower the price. Here you now have the full, complete experience with new content.
I would not be surprised after this thing comes out that Square Enix also cuts ties with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy
Sounds like they're
because I
just-
feel like
yeah.
it was just this. It's just that game's a roller coaster. Because I feel like before it came out, nobody cared.
Yeah.
And then it got the Game Pass announcement, and then
Yeah.
suddenly everybody was on top of that thing, and everybody was checking it out, and everybody was excited. And I was like, "Wow, people like Outriders! It's crazy."
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the game. It didn't have an end game. That's what people wanted. They wanted that Destiny live service.
they wanted
type.
a live service kind of thing, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it was like a single player co-op multiplayer like you go through the campaign. There's not much to do when it's over.
But
Like such a solid foundation. The combat is cool in that game. I really like it, and it's got good co-op. Like Brad and I played together a ton. I will definitely check out the expansion. I'm gonna hop back in.
but it shows that Game Pass isn't the silver bullet. You didn't pay it off. You know,
Ooh.
got everybody talking about it, got everybody
But-
playing it, but it didn't pay it off.
But that's weird because it does still feel like, and we do know this, right? That like every Game Pass backdoor shady deal is different.
Yeah.
Like royalties and fees.
There are
Yeah.
negotiations for sure.
So
Right, like maybe the contract with the publisher was like it has to be sales, not other revenue or something.
And like I said before, like the buzz was so low
yeah.
that I almost felt like it was a panic move. Like
yeah.
Xbox, yeah, well, take this, make it popular. Yeah, so I don't know what their internal forecast is looking like before that.
Yeah.
We have a giant Outriders magnet on our refrigerator here in the studio.
I think we have a huge press kit that like nobody's taken anything out of too.
Yeah, possibly.
It's cool. I like it. I like Outriders.
Well, I'll show you what's in the library afterwards. Remind me. And now, a word from our sponsors.
We've all been there. Seemingly out of nowhere, you get hit with an unexpected expense or bill. When that happens, it can feel like the weight of the world is coming down, and it's normal to not know where to turn. Luckily, Upstart is here to help. Upstart-powered personal loans can help you pay down high-interest debt, all online, with simple and easy-to-understand payment terms. Upstart has helped over 1.8 million customers on their path to financial freedom. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal experiences, Upstart can help you get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Upstart knows you're more than just your credit score, so rather than looking at your credit score alone, Upstart's model considers other factors like your income, employment, and other information provided in your loan application to find you a smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate in minutes for loans between $1,000 and $50,000 without impacting your credit score. You can even receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. Don't wait and check your rate today at upstart.com/easyallies. That's upstart.com/easyallies to check your rate today. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know that we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/easyallies. That's upstart.com/easyallies. If you sell things online, you need help. You can't do it by yourself. So Shopify is a great way to do that. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big businesses. So upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere. Synchronize online and in-person sales and effortlessly stay informed. Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibility. At Easy Allies, we started out selling t-shirts kind of last minute through an online retailer, and now we have, our shirts are handled, but like we couldn't be doing that by ourselves. And if you're trying to do an online company and you're selling things, you need something like Shopify because you just can't do it alone. And yeah, success is a million milestones on a forever evolving path, as it says here, which is kind of cute. I like that. I love how Shopify has the tools and resources that make it easy for any business to succeed, from down the street to around the globe. Shopify powers millions of businesses from first sale to full scale. Reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. Synchronize your online and in-person sales. Gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond. More than a store, Shopify grows with you. This is a possibility powered by Shopify. Go to shopify.com/allies for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/allies right now. Shopify, shopify.com/allies. Free 14-day trial. Check it out. Thank you.
And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you. Damiani got up real early to watch the Nintendo Indie World Showcase this week. And then basically said he wasn't doing that again in the future. But there was some good stuff in there. It wasn't mind-blowing. It was about 25 minutes. Wasn't a dud, though. I actually like the integration they had of the devs in this. The way that they brought people in, it wasn't drawn out. It wasn't too hokey. Like I felt like when people tried to be funny, I was entertained.
The developer, I liked it. The developers, was it Aggro, the crab game one?
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
When he lifted his hands and he had crab gloves on, I laughed out loud. It probably was heard on your stream. Wow.
I need them to write like more comedy in video games because they're like banter was like the funniest shit I've heard like in a while. And I was like, okay, they're funny. Like this is good. I'm gonna check out your game just because you were so funny.
What's interesting too about the format of that is that they had so they would have sometimes they'd have like an intro or whatever from the dev. Not always. They would have the trailer, which would usually be really quick. But then Nintendo would actually come in and like talk about the game a little bit, show a little bit more gameplay and explain it. I feel like I have the clearest picture of what We Are OFK is finally because of this Nintendo video. Which otherwise I feel like we've seen maybe it too many times, but it's like, well, now they're announcing that it's coming to Switch too. So it makes sense. Yeah. Different audience, different group of people seeing this.
Totally.
We're not going to go through the whole thing, but there are 4 games that really stuck out to us.
Under my gunbrella.
Yeah, there we go. Gunbrella.
The best.
Let's get in there.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Devolver and the creators of Gato Roboto joined soft.
Gato Roboto, I never played that one.
Yeah, I didn't get to it either, but I know people like it. It seems cool.
Nice.
Just using your umbrella for traversal, for like just a gruff old dude with the umbrella and being able to like parry shit with it.
Yeah.
And then like turn around. Now it's like, let's go gun time, baby.
Yeah.
Like
Penguin.
And it's like side scrolling 2D action, just
good mood.
Yeah. It just looked fun to play. And it just had a theme that seemed to. It's nice because for me, this sounds really like, I don't know, like mean to say, but a lot of like indie sprite-based games to me start to look the same.
Yeah.
And so this one was sort of doing something up front to very quickly differentiate itself.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that. Whoever put together that trailer for them, like,
Great
and it's
trailer.
like that concept for the game, like really, kind of sold it in that short time frame. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
smart.
call their aesthetic noir punk.
Yeah.
Because when I first looked at it, I was like, it's kind of Western, but it's kind of steampunk, but what is it? And then noir punk comes on the screen. You're like, oh, okay.
They answered it. Yeah.
It really felt. It feels like one of those perfect Storm announcements. They're the best. Like that is textbook, where it's like never heard of this game. You see a minute and a half of it. It has a really memorable and catchy title, and it looks awesome. And then now it immediately in 90 seconds shoots up to my watch list. My must watch out for this game list.
Yeah.
So just great.
You use the umbrella to glide. You can use it like a zip line on lines. You can use it as a shield when other people are shooting at you, and then it's like, oh, it's also a gun.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, I think one of the things that makes this trailer work so well is it's just one of those. The movement makes it look like it's feels good.
Yeah.
And so I'm, hopefully that is correct, but it seems like it's going to feel good when you get it in your hands.
Yeah.
And that's not always an easy thing to communicate.
Totally.
And that is, there's also a crazy giant rat boss thing.
Yeah.
That thing was wild.
There's that, and then like look, it's got like a serious story. There's like a shot of him like kneeling over like some body, and it's like, whoa, yo, it's a revenge story,
Emotions.
or is that the ending? Was sad, like what's going on?
Yeah.
Bonds.
Yeah.
Severed
Loss.
bonds.
Seriously.
And that one's coming 2023.
Yeah.
That was the
that
thing.
hurts. That
It's
hurts.
a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, there were
Off
some
my
there were
radar.
some shadow drops in there.
Yeah.
For now.
Soundfall it was out right after the event, and then Mini Motorways, which I think was already on some other platforms. Soundfall is a top-down like rhythm-based dungeon crawler. Now that's one that I couldn't quite get the feel of just by watching the footage. Like I get the idea, it being kind of like Curse of the Necrodancer, but it wasn't really coming across to me.
It was free form movement, so it wasn't like in sync with each movement.
It wasn't like beat
It was
by beat
more
like that,
No Straight Roads, but not 3D, but like now top down, where like enemies attack with the rhythm, and so like you don't always have to keep track of everything visually. But I mean, this one does it nicely because it's now overhead. It had cool music to it, and it's like in a nice concept. But I mean, I couldn't tell if it played well or not from that the video. Yeah,
and the Mini Motorways looks kind of like you're connecting roads, kind of like old SimCity style. Little traffic puzzles.
This looked interesting.
Yeah.
That was a fun little one. Not on like the list I was meaning to get to, but I just wanted to bring this up since they shadow dropped them.
I want to play that one.
Yeah. And then the next one, though, we want to get to is Electhead.
Oh, yeah.
This is cool. So this is coming from like a single person, Nama Takahashi.
We saw this trailer once before, right?
We saw something about it before, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was on Switch then or if it was something else, maybe PlayStation. But he started when he was a student, and now he's turning it into a full game.
So cool.
Has an art style that's similar to like an old Mega Man game, like Mega Man 2 or something.
Absolutely. It looks like Mega Man or like
it looks like a
modern,
Mega Man boss.
Yeah, something like Yacht Club would have made or something, but it's still like Shovel Knight, but like just looks really cool.
Then wherever your character goes,
Yeah.
He powers the platforms and the things that he's connecting to. So you walk over something and the light bulbs come on, or fire spouts, or electricity bolts down.
Some laser puzzles.
So it's like you use it to like activate platforms to progress, or you activate things to impede like projectiles that are gonna hit you, so that you can like time it. But I mean, the best thing about it is it's not just like walking around by yourself. You could you could throw your head.
And you have a 10
second,
that was the best
you have a 10
mechanic.
second time limit. So like you can do whatever you want, but like if you don't get back within 10 seconds, GG.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool, like seeing like how you could like throw the head on a spot, but then like activate, but now your body's got to get back to it.
Yeah.
So it's
two-
that like really cool hook with that.
Two Never Dead nods on this podcast. I was not expecting that.
Electhead was on Steam October 14th. Okay, so it's just now coming to Switch.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so you can check that out right now.
Sweet.
And And then it's coming this summer. They didn't have an exact date for Switch. And then the next one, also previously announced, is Silt. And this is really cool. Have you seen this before?
I don't think I saw this one.
Okay, so this is...
I don't remember it.
It's like a diving game, underwater, black and white.
Yes,
They compared it to Limbo and Inside.
Yes.
And
yes.
Isla's favorite, underwater machinery.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nah, screw this game, dude.
So hyped.
And then the one thing that was in there that they talked about that I didn't know is that you can possess sea creatures that have different abilities. Yeah. So I'm curious how much of that there is in there.
Probably a ton of that for puzzles and stuff.
Yeah, and there's some big monsters. One of the cool things there when they were talking with the development team is they were talking about the artist has been drawing everything by hand but late at night, and so that kind of feeds into the creepiness.
So legit.
Drawing late at night.
So legit.
Reminds me of you, blacking out the windows.
Totally. To play Resident Evil, black them out.
With
Hang
your
the
mom's
blankets.
help is the other part of that
Yeah.
story that I love.
Stack the books on the blanket.
But just in general, you won't play certain games until the sun goes down, right?
Oh, that game like that is like a nighttime game for sure. Nighttime, alone in a room by yourself.
It's like a crying in the corner of a abandoned barn at night game where you're hopeless.
Yeah.
And then they also said the audio designer set up a fish tank in his studio to record underwater sounds.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. And that's coming out June 1st, right around the corner.
Nice. Yeah, they're not phoning in. This game clearly has such a strong vision. Really excited for that. Could be one of the sleeper hits of the year for sure.
And then the last one that I hadn't heard about before, and I was like, what is Damiani talking about? Crab game. Another Crab's Treasure. This thing is crazy. So it's, okay, so this is what I came down to. This is the comparison. It's like putting SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom together with Dark Souls. And I know we make Dark Souls comparison, but it's very much that's what it's going
Souls,
for.
dude. Sponge Souls.
Because it's a 3D platformer, but then you have the stamina and blocking and combat.
Yeah.
Fighting other crabs. You've got some crazy grapple move.
Yeah.
Like Sekiro.
And there's over how many 20 or something? I might get the number wrong here of shells, because when
They said over 50 shells.
Yeah, your shell got repossessed.
Yeah.
So you're shellless, and when you're outside your shell, one hit KOs. So you got, and there's different things you can take as your shell, and they give it change certain attributes. It's kind of your build.
Yeah.
And yeah, you go out and try and get better shells, and
That's actually kind of a fun hook.
Yeah,
It is.
They showed a soda can. They showed a soup can, coffee cups, a thimble, a shot glass, a Lego block.
Fresh brew build.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Oh, you were using silverware to fight.
So perfect.
So that kind of reminded me of Fight Craft. Remember when they had the knives or what?
Yeah.
And then we talked about the crab gloves.
Yeah.
When they popped up.
the one I feel like you might have been interested in was they've nicknamed it Tabs. Was it Totally
Accurate
Accurate
that one's out on Steam already.
Battle
as well,
Simulator? Have you heard of this one, Huber?
I think so.
It's like Chivalry, but it's like ragdoll physics, like large scale fights, but it's like more of an indie style presentation. Like
It sounds familiar.
different time periods, like you have like Vikings fighting each other, samurai, like Roman
Yeah,
legionnaire.
yeah, that sounds
and
so
it's like
familiar.
it's like flat colors on like the 3D models, so it's not like realistic and like it's just like goofy looking. I thought of you, Huber, when I saw it. I was like, oh, this might be fun.
But they have like
yeah.
big groups sometimes too, so
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure how that works out. Like,
Yeah.
you controlling a whole group, or is it more strategy
Yeah,
game
Huber,
like?
this.
Yeah. Totally good vibes. I really want to play this. This is a group stream game for sure.
And then what are some other things that there was in there? Ooblets is coming to Switch.
yeah.
Also hitting 1.0 in the summer. There's a Diablo-ish ARPG called Batora. Wild Frost, which is like a roguelike deck builder card battling game.
Yeah, we've seen that one before.
Yeah.
The other one it seems like people seem really like excited about, but it's never really gotten me that interested, is the like Call of the Lamb one or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I haven't been too into that.
yeah.
It was just a PAX East too. People
Yeah.
just played it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, some people seem to be riding high on it, but I'm just like,
I want to play it.
nah.
Give it a spin.
Yeah. So, maybe not the most exciting, but there's definitely some good games.
Yeah, they didn't have like a
playing.
they don't need like a big surprise in, but they didn't do like a big deep dive into like a final game or something like that. Or they usually do like a reveal or here's a big indie game that we want to like emphasize. It almost felt like that's what the last game, because they ended with a montage at the end and they showed like a few other upcoming games, and I was like, oh, they're probably gonna do the one more thing bit as like a joke, and it's like, no, that's the end of it.
That's
so.
it.
Keely's
got them all.
That's what I was like,
Keely was holding all
he's
the
got
big
all the good
ones.
stuff.
Keely has the Remake 4 demo on his
How
hard
big
drive.
do you think the check from Keely was to Team Cherry to secure that Silk Song review?
Oh, come on, don't talk. We almost got through this discussion without mentioning Silk Song.
Keely's got Silk Song.
Keely told me he's beaten it.
Yeah. Keely's got it.
Yeah, he's already unlocked like
Yeah,
the
he
hardest
told me.
difficulty, the Iron Man mode, one shot KO, like instant permadeath.
He said it was okay.
Yeah, said the map was need to be bigger.
Yeah.
50 hours wasn't enough.
He said that getting the true ending wasn't hard enough or grindy enough.
Huber, I don't know if you heard about this, but a Mafia prequel
Yes.
is in development.
Yes.
So this came out along with news about studio shakeups. So Hangar 13 studio head Hayden Blackman, previously from LucasArts. I remember him
Force
back in the day.
Unleashed.
Yeah. As well as CEO Matthew Urban are leaving the company, and Nick Baines of Hangar 13's Brighton office is taking over as the new studio head. And then they worked on Mafia 3 as well as the Mafia remakes. Along with that change in leadership, Kotaku was reporting that a new Mafia game is in the works being developed on Unreal Engine 5 rather than the custom engine that they've been using for the Mafia games. Apparently, the studio has had 3 canceled new IP in recent years.
Wow.
So they had Rhapsody. These are code names, by the way.
Oh, what's I say?
Rhapsody, a spy game that integrated music cues somehow. Volt, which was kind of trying to play on Destiny, be a Destiny-like game, and Mosaic, which would have been a loot-based ARPG. I'm guessing like Diablo.
Yeah.
And then they've also been doing support work on projects like Tiny Tina, et cetera, et cetera. This new Mafia game is codenamed Nero, and it's very early in development. Who knows how far along
probably
they are.
years away. It's one of my favorite franchises ever. You've heard me talk about this all the time. Coming off of 3 was disappointing. Swimming in sevens, though. 3 has a great story, and Lincoln is an incredible lead character. They always have such strong characters in Mafia games, kind of like Grand Theft Auto. You know, the protagonists are really cool. And then, of course, the train wreck that was the remaster for Mafia 2. So it was like kind of like, oh, 3 wasn't as good. Oh, the remaster's so bad. But then we got Definitive Edition, the remake of 1, which I love because I love the original Mafia game so much. And this remake really did it justice. So we're on a high note again with Mafia.
Do you think the engine is a part of that? Do you think that switching the engine could be what they need to revitalize these?
Hopefully, yeah, because it seems like they had a lot of struggles, like tech struggles. Like Mafia 3 was a technical, not a mess, but it had a lot of issues. It still does even. And then obviously the remasters, that's a whole other different thing. So just the way you hear devs talk about Unreal Engine just being easy to use, like, yeah, sure, do it. And Unreal Engine 5 looking ahead to the future is encouraging. So like Definitive Edition looked incredible. I can't even imagine what a new full effort like if it's Mafia 4, I can't even imagine how good that'll look.
Right. But then being a prequel, do you think that maybe one of the issues with Mafia 3 is like even as much as you love the character or like trying to think outside of the box, that kind of threw a lot of people off to be that detached, and that far from, where the source material was?
They tied it in really nicely, like characters from 2 are integral to Mafia 3. The main problems were I've heard the devs talk about it. They knew some things were bad and they just couldn't change them. It's stretched so thin. It is repeating the same quests over a huge open world. Like, it really goes into that checklist criticism that we don't like with open world games. It really falls into that.
Do you feel like that has like similarities? Because you've talked in the past about how like Mafia has like a big open world, but it's not meant for you to go and check everything out.
It's
like
purely
just the background.
Yes.
And you feel like maybe they did sort of the same kind of thing with 3, and somebody's like, well, no, you got to put activities out here.
That is like what yes. That Bloodworth. Even if you do open world activities, they could have scaled it back. It just got into, it still retained a lot of what that series is, which is the characters and the setting and the atmosphere. It's just the direction towards open world, as a fan of the franchise, to me was misguided. And even if you have no affiliation with the franchise, just an open world game where you're doing the same quests over and over again is like, that gets old, But it ended strong, and it's, I still think fondly about that game, flaws and all. And then, of course, like I said, Definitive Edition was so awesome. So hopeful.
Yeah. Now, I'm obviously I'm somebody like I've never dug into the series like you have, but when you hear Prequel, does that send off alarm bells, or does that feel weird, or you have an idea of where that might go?
Yeah, because 1 is like Prohibition, 1920s and 30s, and then 2 is like the 40s, 50s, 60s era, and then like 3 is like 60s, 70s era. I don't know the exact dates. It's been a minute.
Right.
But like those are kind of the eras.
2, you go through like 30 years of that guy's life.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So before Prohibition, I mean, we could do an awesome thing where, I like when Mafia stories kind of tie the Old West into it. You start out in the Old West, and then you slowly get into, the 1900s, 1910s. You kind of come in at the tail end of the Old West. So if you want to go all the way back, like origins of the mob would be a really cool direction to take it.
Did you see the last season of Fargo? The Chris Rock?
No. On my list.
I started it. It was
It's really interesting the way they go with that series.
Dude, Kirsten Dunst in that one season, legend. Yeah, I need to get back to that.
But it kind of reminds me of that, where it's like, this might seem like it doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Yeah.
Until you get deep enough. But yeah.
I thought they were going to do Casino. I thought it was going to be all about, we're going west, we're doing Vegas. So I thought maybe they'd go down that route, but I'm down with the prequel. I'm down for some Mafia origins. Because then you can tie into some characters too. Like when you come in on Mafia 1, there's already the established Dons. You hear about, some of these wars. So could be cool to go through that.
Yeah. Also this week, despite years of efforts to disarm all the nukes in MGS5, a player group known as the Anti-Nuke Gang claims that nuclear disarmament is simply impossible.
What? I thought it
largely because nukes belonging to banned accounts can't be disarmed. Oh. And so, I guess that they found some kind of hack or way to try to make it happen, and then Konami just banned one of the guys. They've tried to explain it to Konami. They're not really getting any feedback.
Damn it! But I thought it was
the
already
cutscene thing, whatever.
They've leaked the cutscene.
Yeah,
Right.
they
That's
hacked
right.
it.
So it's never been officially obtained?
No.
Right.
Wow.
And they've been trying on PS3 because it's where like the lowest number of users are or whatever, but it's
I respect the effort so much. That is awesome.
Codemasters Cheshire has been integrated into Criterion Games to work on Need for Speed. This is the same studio that was originally Evolution Studios, who made MotorStorm and Drive Club, then made Onrush, and then made I think Dirt 5. Yeah.
So good vibes.
Yeah.
Bloodworth.
So they've been knocked around quite a bit because they went from Sony.
Yeah.
Sony shut them down, and then they were in Codemasters, and now Codemasters been bought by EA.
Bringing that MotorStorm chaotic energy into an anime-inspired Need for Speed sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Yo, MotorStorm. Shout out.
For much of the past week, server issues have prevented many Xbox players from launching their games. Microsoft has issued a fix, but many are still upset about the need to have online check-ins, even for single-player games. Why is this happening? Godzilla and King Kong are actually now in Call of Duty Warzone until May 25th.
I'll stream it. Don't worry. Stream incoming. Today, tomorrow, the next day. Very, very soon.
Quote unquote, the team that deals the most damage to either monster during a Titan frenzy receives a special device that lets them unleash the power of Godzilla or Kong against opponents.
Heck yeah.
I saw the video of this. I think it's squads only. Yeah, you drop into the map and you like do damage to them and they're huge.
They are gigantic.
They are gigantic.
The screenshots are wild.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Stream incoming.
30 feet tall. Yeah.
This is the kind of battle royale gimmick I love. Sign me up. Shenanigans.
It sounds like Xbox is planning to launch a cloud streaming device by summer 2023. Just like a little Google thing, hook up to TV on USB. And they're also working to get a Game Pass streaming app directly installed on Samsung TVs. So you just flip on the app and start playing games.
Wow. Jeez. You don't even need an Xbox anymore? It's crazy. What kind of world are we living in? You don't even need the box.
Need a good internet.
Yeah.
Yes, you do need very good internet.
Yes, and probably a really good Samsung TV.
After 30 years, EA has officially cut ties with FIFA. After summer 2023, soccer games from the publisher will be titled EA Sports FC. It was previously reported that FIFA had wanted to double their licensing fee to $1 billion per every 4 years.
Whoa!
I mean, it makes
I'm sure it would make that, but
so much.
Yeah. Despite needing to find a new partner, FIFA maintains that whichever soccer games have their name on it will be the best ones on the market.
Oh man.
Do you think someone else is gonna
Yes.
foot that bill?
Absolutely.
But then they have to put in so much into like making an entirely new.
Someone like Embracer, Tencent will probably try to take a crack at it. I bet.
Yeah. Konami still has their games going. I wonder.
They
Yeah,
can't
Pro
afford
Evolution,
that.
soccer.
Konami can't
I
afford
can't
that
imagine
price.
that. But that's the funny thing is like, now that they have to get a partner, will their price lower for that partner? I don't know.
So wait, I'm confused though. Help me out here. FIFA,
Yeah.
what dev is it? Or is it like they would just a new dev would partner with the FIFA license?
Someone else to get the license.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
EA has hundreds of licensing
Yeah,
deals to make this game happen.
Got it.
But
FIFA's
FIFA
like
is
the
one
NFL,
of them.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
I mean, we are living in a studio acquisition era, or like I feel like if it's like Microsoft or someone just like got that'd be so huge. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just there's not a lot of extra sports developers out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
It's wild to
at
think of somebody
Microsoft?
learning those
the two of
lessons.
the leading ones already are not going to be doing it. So in EA and Konami. So who else do you turn to? So
Yeah, Sony,
you have to, like,
Santa
pretty
Monica,
much-
or
2K.
San Diego's locked up.
2K could go for it,
Baseball.
if anyone.
Yeah, but I don't think they will.
Yeah, I don't think
they
so
will.
either. That's a tall order.
Wild.
Starfield and Redfall have been delayed to the first half of 2023, but
No
we'll
surprise.
Yeah,
probably
there's a
see them at
big
Summer Game
shocker.
Fest. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought someone said I thought they confirmed it.
Yeah.
Actually, will be
Yeah,
showing.
I think they've
yeah.
said that it'll be soon. But
Yeah,
they didn't
maybe
confirm that
not.
it'll
We
be
don't
the
know if it's at
showcase,
Game Fest
yeah.
100%, but they said we will be showing it off though in the near future. So
Probably that
It's not-
Bethesda event.
Yeah,
oh yeah, they know they confirmed
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
going to be at the
Yeah, they
Bethesda
confirmed it.
event.
Yeah, yeah.
that was it. Duh,
Yeah.
duh.
they
That
did
was it.
confirm it.
Yes, they confirmed
Okay,
it in the
I thought-
Microsoft
Yeah.
Bethesda
I thought they
event.
had confirmed it, but then people said it. Yeah, it's going to be at that.
Oh, maybe that was just the headline. So maybe someone jumped the gun on it if you actually dove into it. But getting to the point, they probably are showing it next
Yeah.
month. Yeah,
That'll be nice. That'll be fun to see. I'm excited to see it.
actual gameplay this time.
Yeah, I'm excited
Yeah, I
to
hope
see. Like,
so.
what is it? Show
I
us.
sure hope so. For both of those games.
Please.
Dead Space is going to launch on January 27th. That remake.
That January window.
They've been doing little
Smart.
dev diaries.
Yep.
I skimmed through that. I was like, are we going to talk about that today? And I looked at that video and like,
Yeah.
oh, this is just like moving assets around in the engine and showing how lighting works and stuff. I don't think I need to worry about it today.
Yeah.
But they are going to show more later. So they're going to show like a real gameplay thing
Keely's already
in a
played
few
it.
months. Oh, I'm sure he has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keely will play things that don't have anything to do with anything he's going to show off. He'll just visit his studio and play everything. And quote, "This is not a joke. Eve cross Microsoft Excel is happening. Soon, you'll be able to transport in-game data directly into Excel. Spreadsheets in space made easy."
I love this, dude.
They embraced.
People
they
embracing
embraced
the
it.
meme, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eve Online, spreadsheets.
Yes.
It's time for love and respect.
Love and respect.
From Kristen G. Rosario. Greetings, allies.
Greetings.
What has been a video game you've enjoyed where there was a mission so difficult that once you completed it, you never wanted to do it again? I asked because about a month ago, I completed one of the most difficult things I have ever had to do in a video game. What is it, you may ask? Is it beating a difficult boss in a Soulsborne game? No. The most difficult thing I have had to do in a video game recently is to complete the trolley and turbo trolley missions in Tomba 2. The mission involves having to make it to the end of the tracks via minecart at a set time so a bucket of cement doesn't solidify. I'm not joking. They require you to navigate caverns in a trolley that's careening down the tracks without tipping over because of the speed. I just barely managed to complete these missions, the first in under 24 milliseconds and the second in just under 4, I think from the target time.
Yeah.
After spending hours on them. I love this game, but I hope to never have to do those missions again.
The challenge room in the witness.
Oh, sure, yeah. That's a rough one. Off the top of your head, anything?
Old GTA games have some ludicrously hard missions.
yeah.
Ludicrous.
Oh, so annoying sometimes.
Brutally
man.
hard.
So easy to
ones.
fail them too.
So easy to
Oh.
fail. Started over from scratch. Some of those. I mean, I think of the one in Vice City when they raid your mansion. That one's really tough. The helicopter one.
Yeah,
where you gotta carry them.
exactly. Yeah,
It's
that
so
one was
annoying.
a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Some of those missions are just not good.
Yeah.
Also, I gave up on Tetris Effect Blood. We need some redemption.
Yeah, we're gonna get that taken care
Oh,
of.
you gave
I'm
up
a
on it?
terrible Tetris
Oh,
player.
okay,
I feel
we're
as
gonna
I'm
do
just
it.
terrible.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's not
Against
like a mission.
That's the thing. Like,
true.
I feel like
And it was still fun, even though I was failing. I was like, whatever.
I feel like I've had several of these. Just nothing's coming to mind
Right.
off the top of my head where there's something that's like this sucks. I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, the one
Anything
that
14? Anything?
Well, that's not missions. Those are bosses. We're talking. Yeah, like a mission.
I think a
mission.
boss, if you don't want to do it again because it was
Yeah.
so hard, I think a boss could
Well,
count.
I mean, there's Elden Ring, but but I did do it again anyway. But I was still
You
annoyed
maniac.
at it. I was still annoyed at it. Just reaffirmed it. Should not have tried it again. Bail out.
The one I was thinking of, though, because I'm prepping for the stream next week, though, is F-Zero GX.
Oh, here we go. Yes.
I think it's like the second story mission is actually the worst out of the whole game. Like Captain Falcon walks into some back alley garage, sits down in a simulator of the Blue Falcon, and then you've got to pass through all of these gates in just the perfect timing, and it's just it
that's such a
sounds
good
so
one.
simple, and it's just completely
Oh my god,
brutal.
such a good one, Blood. All those story missions. I mean,
They're all hard.
They all suck.
But that one is just the worst.
that one is pretty bad. Too. That's a good one, Blood.
Similar to, but I guess opposite of this is not the stuff that's not difficult, but the stuff that you just have to get through to get to the good stuff. Like the first 4 hours of Red Dead Redemption 2 or whatever, or tutorials in general,
Right,
where it's
right.
I want to do the fun part, but I got to get through the tutorial first. Yeah. Sorry,
Love that
Hubie.
part. I love the
I was gonna say, I feel like
You love the snow?
all
All right. No shade.
Yeah.
No shade. It was just the first thing that came to my mind with a lengthy tutorial.
lengthy tutorials.
Lengthy.
Yeah.
Top 10 lengthy tutorials.
On the flip side, you could play Far Cry Blood Dragon, just do the tutorial, and then you're done. You're out.
Because you get the whole
Because
idea.
it's so funny. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've got to be in the right mood to start a new game. Like we were streaming the other day and I feel like I didn't give Songs of Conquest a good shot because
sure.
my brain just couldn't read.
Oh, a strategy game? Last second jump in? Yeah. Live on stream?
Yeah, no.
From Jason Wojnar, what is the pivotal moment in your early life that changed and defined your path in gaming? I recently discovered that the Christmas we got our PlayStation in 1998, my brother had originally asked for an N64, but changed his mind after seeing Tekken 3 on display at a store.
Fun.
The irony? We never got Tekken 3 on the original PlayStation, even though we got the PS1 and it was the sole reason we did. If we had gotten the N64 instead, like on his original wish list, it's likely we would have gotten the GameCube and Wii later on. Perhaps only getting into PlayStation as adults, if ever.
I've told this story 1 million times. It's Mortal Kombat on the Genesis because it had blood was the definitive reason I got Sega Genesis over Super Nintendo, which turned out to be a blessing because Super Nintendo was the only console I missed, which does suck. It's one of the best of all time. I never had one at the time. Fortunately, I played Link to the Past with Brad all the time, so I got that fix.
You at least had somebody close by,
But because I had Genesis, then I was into Dreamcast, and that's all Shenmue and all that. So I'm glad I got that.
Yeah, and I was a PlayStation girl, like the Wojnars. I never had a Nintendo until the Wii. I guess I had an SP, but yeah, very different path.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to get a PlayStation for the original one. All the magazine stuff that I was able to read made me really excited for a PlayStation. And this is 95, around then. And N64 stuff was here and there, but it seemed so far off. Yeah. But the moment was Toys R Us had kiosks to play N64 starting in 90, some point. Yeah. I remember playing.
I want to say they were 2 months early.
Yeah.
They were July or August or something, and it came out in September.
Yeah. I was really hell-bent on that. It was twofold. It was getting the video of the Nintendo 64 video from Nintendo Power that showed Super Mario 64 in motion. So I only saw screenshots, did not see anything in motion. So when I saw a video of it, I was like, holy crap. And then playing it at a kiosk, I was like, all right, all the money I was saving for PlayStation, I had a thing that said PlayStation Fund. This is going N64 now.
Yep. Same, I went N64. I got a PlayStation 1 way later, years later. Turok and Mario 64. It's just too OP.
For me, I think it's when I could somehow convince my mom to get a Nintendo Power subscription because I didn't even have a Nintendo. I played at friends' houses. I had an Atari at the time, and at my dad's place, I still had access to the Commodore 64. But yeah, the Nintendo was just something I got to play at other people's houses, similar to the Master System. But I think the first issue I got was Mega Man 3. But the reason I was able to convince her was because that's when they started really ramping up the Player's Guide initiative. And so with the subscription, I also got the 4 Player's Guides.
Nice.
So the NES Game Atlas, there's a Game Boy one, there's a Super Nintendo one. And I think the 4th might have been a Link to the Past.
Sick.
I had a really cool Nintendo Power Super Mario Brothers 3 guide.
Oh, yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah. Those were all really cool.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if I still have that somewhere.
Dude, I love old guides.
Yeah.
The Prima guides for Suikoden were so good. Anyway.
But yeah, but that's, pivotal. That led to so many different things because then obviously, eventually I did save up and get a used NES from a flea market and then got my mom to rent me a Super Nintendo for the year until she finally bought me one for my birthday because she was tired of renting them. And she didn't rent it the whole year, but multiple times. And then getting into writing about games, getting into drawing Mega Man art from Nintendo Power and Super Metroid art and other things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy stuff, just even getting into Final Fantasy IV and all, it's because of how cool it looked in Nintendo Power. So,
heck yeah.
That was it.
Now I'm just thinking about the PlayStation and PSM and Oh, the stickers I would put on my PlayStation. Oh God, I love it. I love it.
Demo discs.
Demo discs, dude.
Yeah.
Lara Croft, dude.
Let's play a game.
Ah.
All right, from G the Finger. All right, heads up. This one's a little on the morbid side,
Oh.
but
Right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, we're right at home.
Patrons are getting this on Friday the 13th.
Oh, it's Friday.
The public's are getting this on Sunday, which has a blood moon, so we're gonna go with it. So it's time for another round of Either Or, the game where you must differentiate video game trivia from seemingly irrelevant topics. Below are 10 causes of death, and for each one, I want you to tell me if it's a way that you can die in The Sims 4, a way an American president has died,
Oh God.
or both.
Oh, sick.
Great.
Adoration and admiration. I think that's their sign off. I'm not exactly
It's
sure.
a
like,
special version of Love and Respect. Right?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, there you go. So number 1, heart failure.
Both.
So what's the game? Sims 4? So yeah.
Yeah,
both.
Sims 4, president
Is this
or
a
both.
president eventually dies of heart failure or dies in office?
I don't think it's in office. I think.
Yeah, has died.
So yeah, both is probably right.
Both, I think.
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah.
9 presidents
Yeah, I was gonna say
have died of heart attack,
multiple.
disease, or failure, and Sims can become so angry that their heart explodes.
Jeez.
Yo. Okay.
Wow.
That's
Blood
pretty
pressure.
angry. I feel like I've gotten close to that sometimes.
Getting shot.
Presidents.
Both.
It's at least president.
Wait,
I don't
no,
think
just
you-
presidents.
Yeah, you
just
can't get shot in
presidents.
I was gonna say there are
Sims
guns
Yeah,
in.
Yeah.
just presidents.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say whoa, there are guns.
Abraham
No.
Lincoln, James Garfield, William McKinley, JFK all died from complications associated from a gunshot wound.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you like the play?
Number 3, overexertion.
Both?
Both. Yeah.
I'll say just The Sims.
Just The Sims.
All right.
Elderly
Prove
Sims.
it. You can't prove that.
Elderly Sims can perish if they woohoo too often.
That's sex.
Yeah. Exercising too much can do the same.
I guarantee that a president has died of overexertion.
Sure. I
Taft
can't
died
fact
in a
check you on that,
bathtub or
but
something.
maybe.
Yeah.
Electrocution.
Ooh.
Sims.
Sims?
Sims.
I would love it if a president had gotten fried.
I was thinking like was there
That's
ever an
insane.
accidental, but because
Right.
it's like yeah.
Repairing objects with low handiness skill or being struck by lightning will invoke singed or seriously fried status ailment. 2 stacks of the status will kill your sim.
Jeez.
Hey, at least you get a shot.
So you can survive a lightning bolt.
Cleanse your
But
debuff.
then
a
if you
shot
repair
at
something
it.
with low handiness skill, you're done.
Cleanse your debuff. What if you got like a sim that turned into powder and had like mind powers from getting struck by lightning? Remember powder, Hubert?
Oh, yeah.
Powder.
Drowning.
Definitely the Sims. Both?
Like at any point drowned? I'm gonna go with Sims only.
Sims.
Sims.
Damn it.
Take the ladder out of the pool and wait patiently.
Yeah. A
Jeez.
classic. That's a classic.
It's so funny because
They don't know how to
it's not
climb
that hard
out.
to get out of a pool in real life, but if you're a Sims, you don't have the
Hey,
skills.
man, don't live in the Sims world, man.
Career
Yeah.
enthusiasm. Barrier
Where's the
around.
fence?
Yeah,
Dun,
the
dun,
pool
dun.
fence.
Extreme temperatures.
Both?
Sims.
Hang on. Extreme temperatures.
Heat stroke gets a lot of old people.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with just with Sims.
It's both.
Ha I'm so happy.
Right? It's so weird. William Henry Harrison died of pneumonia after standing in pouring rain without cover. And Sims wearing the wrong clothing for weather can freeze or overheat to death.
Yeah.
Diarrhea.
Cha cha cha.
Both? I don't know if that's in The Sims.
There's no way a president has died from diarrhea. Come on.
Absolutely. Diarrhea kills
It's
more than you think.
Sims.
Waiting on Damiani. Give it a guess.
Sims.
All right. President.
Ah!
Zachary Taylor, after
is this
gorging
possible?
on ice water and cherries.
What?
What?
I need receipts. I need
Ice
receipt sources.
Can
All right,
be a
let's fact
diuretic.
check that one.
I need
Fruits
sources.
can be a diuretic.
gorging on ice water and cherries.
Grapes will make you real regular.
I thought like watermelon was the one that made you crap more.
No,
that's
well,
what
I
used
mean,
to
maybe,
You
but-
used to eat that. That's what Civil
thought it
War
was
people ate
prunes.
before.
Yeah, prunes and
thought-
cherries and
Yeah,
grapes.
I always thought it was like watermelon before Civil War battles. So like the med people treat him afterwards. Like you want your bowels completely cleared out, or else you're gonna die if you get a gunshot wound.
Hysteria.
That's the Sims.
Sims.
Yeah, there haven't been any female presidents, Bloodworth. That's a joke.
Yeah, it's The Sims. Becoming too happy can cause Sims to laugh themselves to death.
One of these days,
You're gonna die laughing.
Too happy. Wow, what a problem. Wow. Paralysis.
both.
Both? Just presidents?
Just president. John Quincy Adams became paralyzed after suffering a stroke. And the last one,
So the stroke more kind of.
yeah,
Yeah, let's say.
eaten.
Sims.
It's just Sims? Has a president been eaten?
That would be fun, but it's just a
Sims.
sim.
Oh.
It's like neither, maybe.
There is a
It's like-
curiously large number of ways a sim can be eaten alive.
Jeez.
Can you imagine a U.S. president that had been eaten?
That is gnarly.
Like an alligator
A
or a
lion.
Right.
pack of like wild, like.
I wouldn't have
Or
put it
a
past
Hannibal Lecter.
Roosevelt, but
Well,
yeah.
when we bring dinosaurs
Teddy
back,
Roosevelt.
happen.
Yeah.
Totally.
Indominus Rex will come through and
Yeah.
eat a president.
It's time for bets. This week's bet, Dolman
Dolman,
dude.
is out next Friday.
Yeah, it is.
By this time next week, we should have some form of launch trailer. But whatever
Maybe,
the
man.
yeah,
Dolman plays by his own rules.
yeah, whatever the most
Yeah.
recent trailer is, though, how many enemies will the players, a player, it could be the co-op player, could be LA. How many enemies will the players strike? So the enemy itself, not the number of hits. And we said the guns don't count. Hubert,
6 enemies.
That is so low, isn't it?
6
I mean,
separate
it is.
enemies? I mean, if the
Yeah.
trailer's like a minute and a half and there's guns,
it really
and
depends.
there's like a 20-second boss clip or something.
It depends if they're going for atmosphere or action.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some trailers where like they really only fight one thing and they
Yeah.
just talk a lot.
Yeah.
Others then there's combo. So, yeah. Damiani.
I went lower too.
My
2.
God.
What? Okay.
We got the low.
You've got the
Damiani.
low, I think.
Isla.
36, baby.
36.
That is
lot.
so high.
I'm
But remember the
expecting
birds last week.
The birds.
She got those birds.
I got the birds. Always go with a multiple of 6. I'm expecting the classic like cutting to like some dumb rhythm or something in the music, you know, cutting to black, hitting stuff.
the bodies.
Yeah, we'll cut to that. Yes.
I tried to hit the low. I went 4,
Oh.
but I got boxed out there.
If Dolman comes out the gate with a drowning pool or whatever band, Let the Bodies Hit the
It'd
Floor
be
is
so perfect.
that
Max Pander.
It would be the perfect.
with a pull quote from a review that gives it like a 7. Oh yes. Oh, Dolman, dude.
Feel
what's
good hit of the
My
year.
first instinct was 8,
is
and then I was like, oh, that's gonna be too mid. Now I wish I had gone with 8.
Well, we got the high anyway.
Yeah. Last week's bet, Salt and Sacrifice came out this week, and I went through the top 10 reviews in English reviews. We decided a while back to skip this other languages on OpenCritic. How many times would I see the word loot? Huber bet 5 times. Ben bet 12 times. I actually did go low on that one. She said 2 times.
Not loot heavy games, I figured.
And I said 6 times. We got a total of 4 loot drops across 10 of those reviews. IGN had 1, Shack News had 2, and We Got This Covered had one, making Huber our winner.
Woo!
Bringing the scores to Massive Chubs 8, Splish. Malodorous Sea Lions 8.
A tie, dude?
Yeah, we're tied.
Oh,
We've been
tied
neck and
up.
neck, back and forth on those ties.
All tied up.
finally the teams are balanced.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. Patreon is how we're funded, how we're supported. Basically, if you like this show, if you like our reviews, if you like anything Easy Allies done, please support us at Patreon. That's how we get things done around here. That's how we pay for everything around here. It's how we pay for the vocal booth we got from our fundraiser recently, and we're getting some gear in there, and everything else that goes on around here. If you're a patron, you get access to various rewards. The $1 tier gets this podcast ad-free and with 2 extra love and respect questions in our Patreon feed. There's also an RSS feed that goes along with that, so you get a custom feed that you can just have updated on your app, and you don't have to worry about going through the emails and stuff. But there's emails that get sent out as well. And then the $5 option, you get it on Fridays instead of Sundays, and then you get to submit to Love and Respect and our games. And then also just tell your friends about the podcast, particularly if you have friends that are like, I used to watch it, I don't know, because we've seen a lot of good feedback. Everyone's been really enjoying the show the past couple of months, and so if you know somebody that's like, I kind of fell off of it, like what you're telling us, tell them, and tell people to show up. And at the top of our Patreon, we have 3 tiers to get shout-outs, and this month's shout-outs are Javawabs, Elphanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Caleb Togi Crawford, Nick, and Anna Croft. Shout out.
Out.
Huber,
Yo.
you get to promote any Easy Allies video you'd like to promote. You get the final word on anything you've disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped in your head. And you get to sign off with your trademark. Sign off.
I gotta check easyallies.com to see some videos. I haven't been on in a day or two. So let's see what we've got. Little live. Yes,
assist.
Damiani, the assist from Damiani. Don and I sat down to discuss the long-awaited teaser of Avatar: The Way of Water. So check that out. Don and I are, we give it to you straight. Tell you about that. Bloodworth, you kind of stole my thing. To reiterate, your homework, don't tell one human, not an animal, tell one human you've never told about Easy Allies. Tell them about Easy Allies. One human. It's your homework. And love and respect. See you soon.
Sure.
Go Yankees.
Whoa. You chose violence.